Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't posted in a while and I'm sorry about that. I got the flu and I've just been dealing with everything that's going on right now. I didn't know if I wanted to mention things in this video or not, but since we're all going through the same thing, I thought it would be okay to briefly touch on it. I know that things might be rough right now, but eventually it will go back to normal and we're gonna get through it together. And for now, plants are a wonderful distraction. As for me, my job is closed until further notice, so I've been working from home. I have also been playing a lot of the new Animal Crossing game and Stardew Valley on Nintendo Switch. Speaking of, if you guys want to add me as a friend on there, I'm gonna leave my friend code in the description box. But for today's video, I figured since I'm stuck at home and I can't go purchase any new plants, I might as well showcase some of my favorite plants that I have in my collection currently. And today I thought I would focus on Hoyas. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. I think I'll start with my very first Hoya that I ever got, and that is just this little green Hoya Cardosa. And I've had this one for I think almost a year now. I've got a little mold growing on the side of the pot right there, which I'll deal with eventually. It doesn't bother me a whole lot. If it bothers you, you can get rid of it with rubbing alcohol or tea tree oil. Very first Hoya, and it did nothing for the first 6 months or so that I had it, and then it started shooting out tendrils there, and currently it has some little baby growth right there, and that's the first growth I've seen in months, so I'm really proud of it. I would say I watered this one maybe once a week, sometimes every 14 days. It just depends on how the leaves feel. With Hoyas, generally, you're gonna wanna water when the leaf is very bendy, because Hoyas have these thick, waxy leaves, and you can see it's very stiff right here. I might have a couple I can show you that do need to be watered so you can see what that looks like, but essentially I would be able to easily bend this leaf in half if it did need water. Alright, so that was kind of a long time on the first Hoya, but we'll move a little quicker now. Next one is also just a Hoya Cardosa, and I got this one at the flower bin, I want to say 3 months ago-ish, maybe a little longer than that. Honestly, what is time anymore, you know? I can't keep track. This one, and this one I believe is another Hoya Cardosa. I think this one is just a splash. Originally I did think this was a Kubik Helix, but I don't think so anymore because of the shape of the leaves. Oh yeah, I was trying to show you leaves that need water, so this one I probably do need to water, because see how bendy and wrinkly the leaf is? You want to make sure that about 80 or 90% of the leaves on the plant feel like that. We will kind of stay in the same Cardosa family here, so this one is actually a Crimson Queen. It doesn't look like it because it's mostly reverted, but if you look at the corners here, I do have some white going, and then it has just this one all white leaf. I have another Crimson Queen, and then yet another Crimson Queen, but this one I think is my favorite one that I own, and that's because this one has grown like crazy. It was already tendriling when I first got it, but it has put out this all white leaf. It's starting on this one here. This leaf is new. And then all of these leaves are new. Super cool. This one I also really love because its leaves are really big and round. Especially down here. And I feel like I don't see that too often. They're usually pointier. This one is another Crimson Queen. Can you tell that I like these? I have this little one. I've noticed that this one wants a little bit more water than my other Hoya Cardosas. I'm not sure why. Could be that it's in a smaller pot, but I feel like I have to water this one every week, sometimes twice a week actually, but it's done really well in my care. It's putting out a ton of new growth. It also has this little baby leaf right here. The way you can tell the difference between a Crimson Princess and Crimson Queen is to look at the variegation of the leaves. So a princess is going to wear the white in the middle like a gown, and the queen wears the white on the edges like a crown. So outside it's a queen, inside it's a princess. I love them both. And then this next one is also a Crimson Princess. Don't mind the plane flying by right now. This one I got at City Floral, and I did make a video of that one. And then later I discovered it had a terrible infestation of mealybugs. I believe the bugs are gone. I'm still treating it to help prevent them coming back, but it's not doing well at all. It hasn't put out any new growth yet, but I think it's just focusing on getting better right now. There's that. Is this little Hoya Little Boy. I don't know how long I've had this one, but it really hasn't done anything the whole time I've had it. Right now is finally putting out this little branch, or tendril I guess. A teeny tiny little green thing right there. And that's all it's done, but it's doing its best, so I'm proud of it. I water this one probably once a week. It has smaller leaves, so I feel like they tend to wrinkle up a little sooner than the ones with the bigger leaves. But once a week seems to be about right for this guy, and I have them in terracotta. I think I have all of my Hoyas in terracotta aside from 2 of them. I feel like it keeps me from overwatering, and I like the look of it. I know a lot of people don't like to put Hoyas in terracotta because their roots might attach to it, but personally, I have not had an issue with that. Next one is this Hoya Crinkle 8. And this guy I've had for a while. It did used to be a really full plant. I got it at Nick's Gardens last summer, and I unfortunately put it in a glazed ceramic pot, and it was too big, and I definitely overwatered it, so I lost all of the plant except for this one little stem. Hoya compacta, some people call this one a Hindu rope. Also was a huge plant. I think I featured it in my first houseplant tour, my spring 2019 houseplant tour, and it was huge and trailing and beautiful. And the sad story with a lot of the plants that I've lost is that I overwatered them, and I didn't realize that this one in particular wants way less water than all of my Hoyas. Usually I water once a week or once every other week, but this one I water maybe once a month, maybe that. The leaves will wrinkle like crazy when it needs water, and unless the entire plant is like that, I do not put water on this thing, and it's doing so much better since then. I haven't lost any leaves in about 3 months or so since I put it in this pot and watered less. So we'll see how it does. It's doing better. I'm slowly learning. Next I have a Hoya Chelsea. This is another one I got from Home Depot. Shortly after I purchased it, it went downhill, turned yellow. This is what I could salvage, and I actually propagated these pieces from the original plant and put them in this terracotta, and it's been this way for like 5 months or so, and it's doing a lot better. It hasn't put out any growth, but it's alive, so that's all I can say. A Hoya Kintiana. It could be Hoyetii, I'm not sure. They are very, very similar plants. They have a different flower though. It's really difficult to tell them apart just by the leaves, and neither of mine have flowered yet. But based on kind of the coloring when the new leaf comes out on this plant, I'm thinking it's a Kintiana just based on what I've seen online. I could be wrong, and I'll update you in the future if I am. But this one actually grows pretty fast compared to that other one I have. It's put out a ton of little baby leaves. They're kind of cute. They look like tacos almost. One that looks kind of similar to that guy is this one. And this is a Hoya Shepherdii or Shepherdii. Not sure how it's pronounced correctly, but this one is very similar to the Hoyetii and Kintiana, but it has really, really long leaves in comparison, and they're pointier. And then I've also noticed that this one tendrils a bit more, so it'll send out the little vine first before it puts a leaf out. I really like this one. It just looks very interesting to me. Next, I have a Hoya Helix or Helix, whichever way you want to say it. This one is a silver pink. There are so many different variations of this plant, different flowers, different like variegation to the leaves. I also have a silver splash, which I'll show you, but it is hanging. And it started vining up the macrame that it's in, and so I didn't want to disturb it, so I'll put in a little clip of that one right here for you. So here is the Hoya Helix that I was talking about, and as you can see, it is wrapping itself up the macrame there. So next one, I have a Hoya Australis. I actually have two that were the same plant, and I separated them into a few different pots. So there's that big one. I have another plant that I found at Lowe's, I believe. Lowe's or Home Depot. I feel like they have generally the same selection of plants. They all get them from Costa Farms. And this one was labeled as Hoya bilobata, but it is actually a Hoya DS70, and they're very similar plants. I actually thought it was bilobata at first, and when I showed this in my haul, that's what I referred to it as, but they are different actually. This is another one that came in a huge pot, and I split it up. I actually split that one into 3 different plants, but I gifted Ashlyn 2 of them. Next one is a Hoya Serpens. I have a little piece of this propagating as well, which I can show you a clip of, along with a piece of Hoya obovata. I'll insert that now. Here is my little Hoya Serpens propagation. It's got some roots going on down in there, as well as some black pagoda lipstick plant, which is not a Hoya, but it's related. Some Hoya Chelsea, and then a piece of Hoya obovata. And look at the roots on that guy. But I really love this one because the leaves are so tiny and they're kind of fuzzy. This one's growing for me. It's a slow grower, but it is putting out some little tiny leaves right there and right there. Super cute. I watered this one every 14 days just because it is in gravel, and I feel like that tends to hold on to a little more moisture, and it's in this plastic pot. Next is a Hoya Bella. This is another one I got from Nick's Gardens. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but if you go back through my haul videos, you can probably find it. I have not repotted this one because it really likes the pot that it's in now. And this one actually needs a little more moisture than some of my other Hoyas. I feel like I have to water this one once a week, even though it's in the plastic pot. And I think that's because the leaves are just a little thinner than usual and smaller. This is my only Hoya that has ever bloomed for me, actually. So I have a very special connection to her. 1, 2, last 4, you guys. So here we go. This one. Ooh. I did show this one in a haul from City Floral, but I misnamed it. So I thought this one was Hoya Multiflora, but it is actually Hoya Kalakeya. And I might be saying that wrong, but I'll put it on the screen here spelled correctly so that you can take a look at it. This one has really thin leaves. It almost feels like one of my tropical foliage plants instead of a Hoya, which I thought was really cool actually. I love that Hoyas come in all different shapes and sizes, and they have really interesting flowers. Hasn't grown a whole lot. It did have scale when I first got it. It is scale free for the past 2 weeks, but I'm keeping an eye on it. Next, I have my Hoya obovata. This is one of my favorite plants that I have in my entire collection. And I've had this one for, I think, a year now. And for a while there over winter, it was dying and I was terrified that I was gonna lose it. That's why I have that piece propagating. But it did make a recovery. I gave it some fresh soil that was a little better draining, and I cut down on my watering, and that helped tremendously. So this one I only water maybe once every 4 weeks or once every 5 weeks, but just whenever the leaves get really wrinkly. With Hoyas, I've noticed that it's better to underwater than overwater. So if you're skeptical on whether you need to water it, wait another few days or wait another week and then go ahead and do that. Last 2, my favorite as well. I have this Hoya carryi, Albo marginata. So it just is variegated on the outside. I got it along with all of those Crimson Queens that I showed you, but I paid, I think, $45 for this one, and that's a little steep, but I really wanted this one, and I just love it, and it's showing me love back, literally, with a little heart. This leaf is all brand new since I brought it home, and if you look really closely, looks like it's gonna put out one more. That one I water every 2 weeks. Seems like pretty consistently, almost to the day actually with that one. And then my last plant for this video is my very favorite Hoya. Probably my very favorite plant in my entire collection because Jessie gifted it to me as a surprise. I was searching everywhere for this one for the longest time, and then I came home from work one day and it was sitting in the living room waiting for me. This is a Hoya carryi. This is just the plain green version. There's also 2 variations of white variegation. And there's also a splash. But this is mine and I love it so much. It has grown a lot since I got it. It's been putting out these really long vines, just reaching out, and then this heart leaf right here is new as well as this one since I got it. This one I water probably every 5 weeks, maybe more. It doesn't want a whole lot of water, honestly. It's pretty happy to just exist. Okay, so that is my entire Hoya collection. I don't have a whole lot of like super rare ones. I think the rarest ones I have are my obovata and my carryi, but I definitely will keep collecting whichever ones I can find. I really want a multiflora and a macrophylla and one of the fishtail Hoyas, but I'm very skeptical about ordering online. I may try it over the summer and make a video about it, but we'll see. If you guys like this video, let me know and I'll show you some other collections that I have. I hope you guys are all staying safe and staying sane while you may be in isolation right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!